That's kind of weird. I just realized that counter went to 0 and never shifted to the next scene. That's new. Something I gotta fix. What's up, guys? It's Thursday. It's different today. 1:30. I had to push things because life happened, and typically we do it at 12 p.m. Today I need to push. So sorry for any inconvenience. But we're here live, and I see my face on YouTube. That's a positive sign. We're going. What are we doing here? If you're a regular, you already know, sharing photography tips and on building photography businesses. If you don't know, I'm Marcin. I have done photography for 17 years, and every Thursday I share one piece of a puzzle. And you always have, because this is live, you always have opportunity to ask questions. So not only you can do it in a live chat, but you can also leave comments, and you can also let's see, you can also that's a wrong link, but you can also scan this QR code and you can DM me directly, believe it or not. So if you have any questions, if you're stuck, let me know. Let's start the conversations. Other than that, mentioned the comments and the other thing, so I show you the link, so I'm not going to kind of tease you, but for those of you that already know, school is up and running. The waiting list, everybody, please feel invited. Testing a lot of stuff there, content, laying out the whole foundations for like beginner level to intermediate to more advanced. Basically, the school community is really about one aspect that photographers are lacking, not one layer that photographers are lacking. So everybody talks about camera editing and like client interactions, which is obvious, but nobody talks about brand business aspect and like automation slash AI, or very little. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So if that's something you're interested in, hop on school. I'll grant the approvals, whatever I need to do. That's the magic there, to get you in, and let's get you unstuck and going. This is probably the best way to reach me. With those maintenance items out of the way, I hope you guys can hear me. If there's any issue with audio, let me know in the chat room. This is new version of the software that we're using for streaming, so I'm hoping that everything is okay. But today, topic is important, right? As you know, I always have the deck ready for you guys. So who is this video? Who is who is this video for? Or maybe actually quite the opposite. If this video is not really focusing on photography almost at all. I'm talking about productivity. Why am I talking about productivity? I'm talking about productivity just because when you're starting, or when you're in the sort of like mid journey, or maybe you're just scaling at this point, the problem, and it's probably the folks in the first and the second group, the ones that are scaling probably already master that. So you can totally skip it. But it's really productivity. And what I mean by that is a lot of folks, including myself, I didn't know how to work. So a lot of times I would try to start exploring something, an area, whether it's, I don't know, something photography related, Facebook ads, building a community, sending messages. And usually you're not being fed, it's almost, there's never like you're isolated to one topic. There's usually multiple topics. A lot of us, we kind of get all over the place, and with just a lot of information, it kind of feels like drinking from a hydrant. Like it's just, the information just keeps on going, and it's like, and while you're like consuming a lot and learning a lot, most of us are not like, we didn't graduate from photography schools, most of us at least. So it's like everything is new, and as you're learning those different elements, sometimes we don't know how to manage that, right? So I wanted to lay out something, because I really see with the folks that I'm working, very often when they come in, it's not just learning the concept, because you can learn it from me, you can learn from another coach, you can learn from a book, you can learn from YouTube video. But very often, because we consume and the consumption feels good, very often we forget to execute. And it's like, guess what? Nothing's going to change, nothing's going to happen until you actually move that needle a little bit, right? So today is really about like how do we go from just having the information to actually moving using a very basic system. And I got to tell you, at the beginning, I remember first time when I encountered this, this was actually in a corporate world. I thought it was kind of like silly and childish, and then I saw the power of it. I'm like, holy crap, I'll use it for anything in my life. So I use it not only in photography, I use it in my personal life. Like even my daughters, when they deal with like homework and we have the thing on the wall, and that's exactly what they replicate. So I wanted to share it with you guys because it's like when you have something, when you have a topic you need to digest and implement, this is the system that I would definitely recommend using when I work with my students. We always go through this first. So like no matter what topic I throw, it's like dissect it, put it in little chunks. This is how you're going to approach it with your calendar. And it doesn't matter if you have more time, you'll just get there faster, but the system is still the same. So that's exactly what I'm sharing with you today. And let's see if the slideshow will work. The switching didn't work before, but let's see. Let's look at the website. Is it going to come up? Something's coming up. It's not maybe showing, but let's just try to switch it up a little bit. And what do we got there? Maybe it's this one. All right, we got lucky. Very cool. And let me see if I can massage this window so you guys can see more of what I am showing. This seems to be working. All right, cool. Better, much better. All right, so why photographers feel busy but don't move forward. By the way, like I said, this is not just for photographers. This is for anybody building business, anybody. If you have a goal, this system will apply, right? So it's very sort of universal and standard. But I say photographers because that's what I use with my students. Always works because it's like you see progress, you see things moving, you get more motivated because you see things moving, and it's like the flywheel just starts to work faster. So you're accomplishing things, you're building, and it's like it's still a little struggle because it's like it's still information coming in, but like you know how to compartmentalize everything, like where everything belongs. And you can organize it and then you can execute. So at least you know how to sort of funnel that information into an execution point and how to work on it. So the slide here says, as you know, I always look at the slide first and then I give you more context. So it says information overload is normal. Tutorials, courses, gear reviews, the flood never stops. Learning without structure, it's really stagnation, because you're just learning, but nothing in your life is changing. So be careful with that. Consuming content isn't the same as making progress, right? It feels good. It feels like you're doing something, and you are. Part of learning is part of the process. But if you simply stop on this at that stage of like learning, nothing will ever change. So be careful. Progress needs a system. The right structure turns effort into momentum. And that's what we're talking about today. Let's look at the second one. Vague tasks kill progress, right? So when I say, and I'm actually going to use an example because this is something I used with recently with two students actually. And we were talking about like optimizing Facebook profile to make it more like business like. And if I simply say, hey, go ahead and make sure the Facebook profile is optimized, it's like, what does that really mean, right? Like when somebody comes to you like, oh, make sure your brand is on point. What does that physically mean? Like, what do I have to go and do, and for how long, for my brand to be on point? Like, we have to be. A lot of coaches, like, they teach information, but they don't tell you how to implement it. And it's like, and then we judge them as like, it's not a good coach, but like they have the information. It's just we don't probably know how to implement it, or maybe they fail on explaining how to implement it. So that's exactly what we're addressing here. Same thing with like sometimes you have those vague tasks where somebody says like, make sure you improve your business. What the heck do you even? Where do I begin? So that's exactly what we're doing here. I'll show you how I do it. It's been working for the last since 2001, I think. So what, 25 years? So no, it's working, and this is exactly what I'm sharing. So vague tasks kill progress because you simply don't know where to start. So I'm just choosing fix my Facebook profile as just an example, but it would apply to any tasks. And you will see later on, I'll actually show you. I may be jumping forward. So let me just continue with the slide. But fix my Facebook profile sounds productive, but it's not a task. It's a wish. It's very generic. Your brain avoids unclear work. Ambiguity triggers procrastination. And it's like, think about a very simple example. If I say build a house, like, even though you conceptually know what you kind of have to do, like, it's always better to have, like, hey, tomorrow move 15 bricks from this place to this place. Like, oh my god, of course you'll know what to do, right? So that's exactly what we're doing here. Clarity creates movement. Specific tasks. Hold on, let me just reorganize my windows here, because something here is blocking my view. So creativity creates movement. Specific tasks get done. Vague ones linger, because we're delaying. This is where procrastination is coming in, because we're like, yeah, no, I'll get to it. I got to plan it out. And like, your brain just gets overwhelmed. And you always choose like a low friction task and you go do something else instead of actually being productive. So that's that. And the next one here is the actual system. So I already said it. It's going to sound silly, but try to at least try it for about a week or two, and then you will see how much it's going to change and impact your world. So in the very, very, very rudimentary format, think about it as, taking this vague tasks and splitting it up into little sticky notes. And it's literally sticky notes on your wall, or if you have a big piece of paper, use a big piece of paper. I would recommend not writing it, because then you're going to continue rewriting it and moving things over. So it's not very productive. You need sticky notes, preferably different colors of sticky notes. This way, if we have one task and like 4 subtasks, we can use yellow stickies to show on this board how this task is moving and how much of it is left and how much of it is accomplished. This is, if there's another task, we can use different sticky, color of stickies. And this way, if you have 5 things that you have to take care of, whether you're working on Facebook profile, whether you're building your website, whether you're creating your offer, whether you're updating your email, drip campaign, everything is everything has a designated color. And this way you can kind of see visually, just by glancing at it, like, oh, looks like half of those tasks are already completed, because I see it in front of me. And in terms of having the actual board, there's actually a couple things at play, but it's very, very easy. So 1 wall, 3 columns, instant clarity, right? So on a wall, imagine, some people split it up in multiple columns. It's really up to you, but I start at a very basic level, and it's really 3 columns: the to do, the doing, and the done, right? And for those of you, maybe you are working in a corporate world, you already know Kanban methods, you already are part of sprints. This will be easier, and you can probably entirely skip it. But for those of you that don't, this is not new. This is just how big corporations perform today. And the thing is, what do we do with the 3 columns? For the to-do column, it's every task waiting for your attention. So if you're in this example, we're optimizing Facebook profile, we're going to take, we will define the actual tasks, and I'll show you that later. And every task goes into the to-do column first, and then we move it along to doing, which signifies that we are actually working on it right now. And then done is basically when it's done. So this will help you sort of visually understand where you are with particular tasks. Simple structure removes overwhelm immediately, because you already know, if you're let's say the board is on the wall in your office, in your room, your bedroom, keep it in the garage, keep it on the maybe something that you can fold and unfold, however you guys are going to do it. Eventually, later on today, I'll show you how to do it in the digital format, so it doesn't have to be physical. I love it because when I'm on the go, on my laptop, on my phone, I can open it up and still kind of do it the same way without the physical stuff. But the physical stuff to learn is kind of neat, because there's something about dexterity and touching things and like moving to like, okay, I'm doing it now, I'm done with it. That I don't know, that signals to your brain that you're actually like, it's this physical labor. It has to come from like a revolutionary biology or something, that this is kind of how we operate as humans. So far, what do we need to understand? It's a table with 3 columns: to do, doing, and done. And we need a bunch of stickies to then put, whatever tasks we're going to do as part of this Facebook optimized Facebook profile. big task, like what is it that we have to put down on little stickies. Next slide here, breaking down optimized Facebook profile. So one vague goal becomes 5 clear stickies. I think I actually added more, so this number may actually change. But this is, I just have a snapshot of my Facebook profile. It becomes 5 clear stickies, each one actionable, completable, and satisfying to move to done. So I'll show you actually what it means in a little bit. But here I wanted to say, and then like very, very critical piece of information. I want you guys to focus on this and just this is super critical. A lot of times when we look at the task, even if we have it like in chunks, and maybe it is actually digestible, like we always have this thing of like we'll do it because we have we have this mental image of like this perfect day, or it's usually first thing on Monday, or I'll do it, for those of you that are working, it's like, oh, I'll just I'll do it like on Saturday, and this never happens. It's just this ideal scenario, but it almost mentally, psychologically, it feels like you're already doing it. It's like doing diets, right? Everybody starts on Monday. Why? Because today they don't have to do anything. Tomorrow they don't have to do anything. Monday comes, like nothing changes. Monday is the same as today. You'll feel exactly as motivated to do the dieting as you are today. It's just your brain likes to play those tricks because it's like, well, today you don't really have to do anything, right? We usually start with like, hey, maybe today I'll buy some supplements online for the Monday dieting. And you know how it usually ends. Like Monday comes and we never start, or we delay until next Monday or next month or next year. And that's really kind of how it is. So in order to defeat this way of thinking, we almost have to, at the very beginning, this is very, very crucial. I remember when I was working with a coach, he said, you know what, do not focus on the goal. Don't think about like the big term, what do you have to do even, it's irrelevant. He said, just make sure that you schedule, and this will depend on your schedule, so you can decide how much time you want to invest, but you will need a fixed amount of time on your calendar. So for some of us, it will be 1 hour a week. For some of us, it will be, I don't know, maybe 1 hour a day. For some of us, it may be, hey, I have 4 hours on Saturday. So it will be very different for each of us. And the thing is, in order, like, I can't even provide you the fixed answer, like those Saturdays are better, because it will really depend on your schedule. If you're not working and if you don't have any kids, you can probably schedule whenever you like. If you're working with kids, it will be different. If you're mom with 6 kids running around, it will be different. And so you have to sort of try and see if it works first. And most likely maybe the first one will not work, but like over time you'll see that it's like, oh, maybe Mondays and Tuesdays are not good, but like a Saturday and combination with like a Thursday night works. So, but what's very important is that you do schedule at least 2 hours a week, right? And in reality, because everybody says like, hey, I want to get to this goal as fast as possible, then it's entirely up to you. If you want to get there faster, instead of doing 2 blocks, do 8 blocks, do 6 blocks, do 4 blocks. If you want to go slower, if you really don't have time and you're like, I only have an hour a week, sure, just please understand you're going to go slower. That doesn't mean you're not going to get there, but please, 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 please don't ever compare yourself to somebody else, because you don't understand their schedule. You don't understand their availability. You don't understand if they have other resources. Maybe they can outsource it. Maybe there's like a task that they can send to somebody else, or maybe find somebody on Fiverr, or maybe they can hire a virtual assistant and just send it to them. So don't ever compare. Just pick what works with your schedule and just stick to it. So at the beginning, I always say, don't go crazy. Don't schedule 8 hours. If you're barely working 1 hour a week on your business, then I would recommend don't schedule 16 hours for the following week, because you feel motivated. Start maybe with 2 hours. And then if you see that it's like, no, definitely, I did it 1 week and like I had more than 2 hours. And then next week you do the same, repeat. It almost has to be repeatable, right? Because sometimes you're going to have better weeks. Sometimes you're going to have worse weeks. But like, it's very important to keep it sustainable this way, so you can go for it's a long-term commitment. It's not what you can do within a week or 2 or 3, because you are going to be motivated. It is easier at the very beginning. You may actually throw more hours on the calendar. It's like, it's really important what you can repeat. Same goes for building content, website, photography skills, trying out your light setup or whatever. It's really, really important for this thing to be sustainable. So here, back to the slide. What I am saying is the following. I say consistency, schedule time, not motivation. Motivation is high at the beginning, and then then it feels like doing the boring work. And it is about the boring work that you have to kind of hang in there. If you're building a business, I think it's fair to say that it could take 8 months, 10 months, 12 months for this thing to like gain enough traction so that it's going, right? And here I'm saying waiting to feel inspired is a trap every time, because you're not going to feel inspired every time. But guess what? You're still going to have the block of 1 hour or 2 hours where you sit down, and at that time you go back to the table and you then deal with the stickies. So you basically, grab one, and I'll describe the process in a second. But it's waiting to feel inspired is a trap. Time on a calendar beats willpower every time. So when it's scheduled, when it's in place, when on this day, you have to sit down, maybe it's every morning, maybe it's every night at 7 p.m., right? Maybe it's 9 p.m. for some moms, because kids are now in bed, and like, hey, I can find an hour to like squeeze, maybe every other day, maybe 2 hours on some weekdays, and like 2 hours on Saturday early morning when the kids are sleeping. So totally understand that, because we're in that boat. We have two kids, two daughters, and like my wife, whenever she's working on her personal projects, it's exactly the same way, right? So 2 sessions per week. Choose specific days and protect them like client shoots. Once that time is scheduled, you guys have to understand you're scheduling around it, because if you're going to start pushing it around, it'll never happen. So it's like a reserve time on your calendar that nobody touches. There's nothing kids can do, or husband can say, or wife can say, or family member can call you on, and like you're sticking to it religiously, right? Given you are religious, but if not, you're sticking to it. It's a non-negotiable. Stays on the calendar. You're sitting down and you're dedicating that time to do whatever task is on the board at that time. So 30, 60 minutes is enough. Short focused sessions outperform marathon catch up days. 100% true. And I got to tell you, we work, like when I say we, it's me and my wife, we have learned to work in blocks. If you're familiar with the Pomodoro technique, that's exactly what it is. You work for 25 minutes, you take 5 minute break, you come back, you work for another 25 minutes. So it's not like one block of 60 minutes. Don't try to, sometimes you're going to feel good, especially at the beginning, and you're going to work for that hour. And it's like, oh, totally, I can go for like 2.5 hours straight. Don't do that. Get your body, your brain into performing like a 25 to 30 minute blocks, and like do one block, take a little bit of a break, have coffee, drink, answer your phone, and when you sit down, actually work. Don't browse, don't do whatever. Just that 25 minutes needs to be filled with like the actual assignment, the actual work. So that's super important. And then consistency beats intensity. Small actions repeated weekly compound into major results. They always say, we underestimate what we can do. We overestimate what we can do in a day, but we underestimate what we can do in a year. This is, when you're building a business, please understand, this is, you're not going to build anything in a month. I mean, you can do a session, maybe two, maybe some friends are asking, quick word of mouth, yes. But we're talking about building a sustainable business, profitable business over time, and this will require your time and your attention. I hope that makes sense, right? If you don't think it will, there's two options. You're not realistic. That's number one. Number two, you're most likely going to fail, because that's, we hear the numbers about business failing, and it's like, it's not because businesses fail in general. It's because people are unrealistic on what it takes to build a business. So that's a big difference there. So consistency, you schedule the time, and whenever that window comes up, whether it's 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, you just focus on the business and work one sticky at a time. So now with this Facebook thing, let's say one of the tasks for optimizing Facebook profile will be, let's say, updating your profile photo. So we don't think of it as like this whole entire big task. We're breaking this down into, what is it that I need to do, and I'll show you in a digital version what it is. But like for this example, let's just say, hey, I'm updating my profile photo. Like it's one task. So that thing will be sitting in your to-do list, in your to-do column. When the time comes, you sit down, you grab a sticky, you put it in doing. You're only allowed to do 2 stickies at the same time. When you get better with the system, it's entirely up to you. But the system is designed not to handle more than, let's say, 3 stickies at one time, because it's going to be very easy to move them along. You're going to feel good, but it's like, are you actually completing them? Is the work actually moving? Or you're just cheating yourself into like telling yourself that you're actually doing a lot of things, but nothing is actually ending up in the done column. So it's very important that those things move over time. In real world reality corporate environments, those stickies, there's usually like a cadence assigned to it. So it's usually like a week or 2. And then you say, okay, anything that I choose for the next week or next 2, you only put enough in the to-do that you can handle within like a 2-week period. Some of you may say, hey, here's what I'm planning on doing this month. And you're going to load up your to-do column with maybe 10 stickies, maybe 15 stickies, maybe 5 stickies. And that's what you're doing. You're putting it in the to-do. When the time comes to work on it, you sit down, you grab one, you put it in doing, and then you just work on it. You're focused. That's the only thing you're doing. And then once the photo is updated, you grab the sticky, you put it in done. And then you move the next sticky or move on to the, one of the 2 or 3 stickies that you have in doing. And you're making sure that those things are done by the end of the week or 2 weeks or a month, whatever your cadence is. You're basically looking at the to-do, and there should be nothing there. And the nice thing about it is that after a while, after you do the first one, the second one, the third one, it's like it's going to be easier for you to estimate like how much work you still have left to complete a task. And this is how you become more and more and more realistic with planning and understanding what it will take, right? Because sometimes when we're building businesses, a lot of times we have this, we imagine that things take a certain amount of time, and this could be close to reality, could not be close to reality, right? Depending on your experience and how you're moving with different components. Some maybe creative things you're going to move faster on. Some maybe technical stuff you're going to be like, hey, I need help with this website feature for AI to talk to my client through the chatbot. So it will be different, right? And that's exactly what we're trying to do here. So it's like, it's not only to show you the progress that things are moving along from just like, hey, and after it's not only to show you that it's moving, but also that things are getting completed. After a while, your brain will stop fighting you. It will not, because it's not vague. It becomes very mechanical, because you're just grabbing a task, putting it in the doing list, completing a task, moving it to done. After a while, your brain is like, it's just another sticky. Like, how bad can it get, right? So it's super, super nice. I absolutely love this system. I swear by the system. And this is, by the way, for those of you guys that have not been in a corporate deployment world where there's like software pieces, products being developed, services, that's exactly what they do. They physically get up in front of the wall. They have the stickies and they move them around. And then after 2 weeks, they're revisiting, they're reloading the to-do list. And again, same process. And then a month later, 2 weeks later, again. And it's like and after a few months, so many things are completed. You're no longer just sitting there thinking about it. Even one thing to address is that sometimes we're like, yeah, but like I need to, let's say, after improving our Facebook photo, we want to improve our header. And it's like, please do not overthink it. I'm sure there's 100 ways of redoing your header, whether you're, adding some sort of a graphic, maybe you're improving a tagline, maybe you want to include whatever you want to include on your header, the hero image, the main image that you see. It's like, just do the task first. Improve what you currently have. Move the task along. If later on you're going to decide at some point that it's like, you know what, I actually want to like redo it again, or I want to improve it again, or maybe it's a seasonal thing, and I want to do it. What you will notice is this. Now this thing was done, right? So you moved it off the wall. You move it, and it's basically, you're going to move it so that a lot of people get confused because they don't know kind of where to place it. And the thing is, really, you have to it's actually a good validation point because you're going to be moving them now. This test is, because I mean, theoretically it's done. And now what you're going to do is, if you're thinking about redoing it, it's it's you're going to hit this challenge of like looking at what you have in your to do or what's waiting to be put in to do, and you're going to second question yourself. And it's good because it's like you're not going to clutter your to-do list with things that are repetitive or nice to haves, or it'll actually force you to like rethink it, like, do I really want to rework it, or maybe I want to leave it for later. And what I do is, my recommendation is, if there are tasks that, like, I'm not saying don't do it at all, but you can basically take this task and figure out another maybe half an hour somewhere, during your week, and you can take it and you can literally put this into like a half hour session of like tasks I like to do, or refinement, or whatever. And this way, this task, you can just take another stab and make it better, and make that header better, or mix it in with other work. But like, you see where the conflict will be. Like, there's work that's waiting to be just done because we have to move the business along, and now you have to make those choices. So that's really good. And after a while, you're gonna see that you're gonna outwork your self doubt. So you're not gonna have to. You're gonna stop kind of. You will start believing that the work will actually be completed. So if you very often, doubt yourself, you can say, okay, I'm actually moving along. Here is my pace. Here is my cadence, and it will help you forecast. So like, if you do it for a month or two, you'll be like, oh, I'm going at this pace. I'm doing 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 tasks, a month. And it'll be easy to kind of figure out, what else it will take to finish the project. Um, then finish before moving on. So we already know that put them in done. Completion is the fuel for next step. Progress builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds your business. That's exactly what it is. And that's what I already said. And one other thing I wanted to show you guys is basically like, okay, so this is the physical system, but now I want to move it into something like a digital format. I use it on my phone, my computer, and that's, I use Airtable for that. I highly recommend it. It's a phenomenal tool. I think I only pay $12 a month or something. But I move this kind of like, sticky view onto my board. So I'll just show you here what I have is move your system into Airtable. When your wall gets crowded, go digital without losing what works. There's the board view that I always use. There's the grid view, and and it basically scales with you. So if you hire somebody down the road, they can look at your board, they can look at your list, and kind of continue on with different individual tasks. And this way, you don't have to worry about everything. What does that look like in reality? So like, I'm switching over to Airtable. I'm going to go through this very quickly. This is not an Airtable tutorial. This is more just to kind of for awareness. And this is where I have all of my tasks. So this is, Facebook optimization, profile image, header image, bio description, featured section. So you guys can see I have tasks listed here. And the tasks basically, I'm able to like build this table here and add attachments if I need screenshots, references, pictures. I can add, links if I need it. I can add like when I'm planning on doing this. But to the left here, you can see there's list of tasks, which is what I'm looking at right now. There is a to-do table, which is just my board. So you can see the 3 columns: to do, in progress, and done. And basically, when I'm working on the task, you guys will see on the task list, let's say profile image is in the to do status, right? To be done. I can switch to my regular board, which is just my kind of like the physical board. And if I'm working on profile image, I can literally move it to in progress, which is like working on. And then this one is in progress. If I look at my list of tasks, it also shows that it's in progress. So it's kind of like updating, cross-referencing each other and updating what needs to be updated. If I go and select 2 tasks, let's say it's a header image, now I have 2 tasks in progress, and maybe I finish my profile image, move it to done. Now when I look at my task list, I have the status reflected. So this is kind of cool because not only I get to use the board, but I also see like, oh my God, I have this done, this done, this done, this done, and already it's marking my tasks as like being completed in green. if you're ever interested in like obtaining a template from me, I don't mind sharing. So that's something that I can do a separate episode on to show you guys how that is done. And there's also another view, which is a calendar view. And in this view, I essentially, I see where things are laid out on the calendar, so I can schedule things here, and I can kind of see like, oh, this Friday or this Thursday I will be working on this task. So hopefully that makes sense. Airtable, same on your desktop, laptop, on your phone, you can access it this way. I can take my board, on the go, on the road, and just kind of continue working on whatever needs to be worked on. And I think this is just a highlight in the end. Your next move, don't plan more, start moving. Get those things on the stickies or in the Airtable or whatever tool you guys want to use. And don't plan more, start moving. Choose one task. Pick a single task to start from the to-do to doing. Move it along, break it down, split into smaller stickies. So I'm talking, when I mentioned the first step, choose one big task. So optimizing Facebook profile in this case, break it down into smaller tasks. Those go onto stickies, and then we move them accordingly, and you already know how to do it. So break it down, schedule sessions, book 2 sessions this week, or 1 session this week, or 5 sessions this week, according to your schedule, and begin the first scheduled session. 1 decision, 4 steps. Your system starts today. Super, super, super helpful. Highly recommended. I use it every day, like I said, and I'm convinced that this will get you moving. Everybody that I work with, if they're not familiar with this, they're using it, and it's like you start slow, but you build the momentum, and like I said, you're outworking your self-doubt eventually, and you keep on moving. So that's very important. If you guys are interested in me doing, I don't know, some sort of like an Airtable, maybe in-depth thing, let me know in the comments, or just reach out, and we can certainly do that. Once again, this is if you feel a little lazy, you can go here, and not the school task, done the school link, but the QR code you can scan. You can reach out to me directly. School is there, just a reminder. New community building, all levels for different types of photographers. If you're interested, feel invited. But that is it for today. Hopefully this was helpful. Enjoy it, take it, put it on your wall, do those tasks. I promise you guys will start moving along. I know it helped me tremendously. For today, this is it. I don't have a new topic yet for next week. Next week, again, planning on being here live at 12 p.m. Eastern, as always. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you guys next week. So thanks. See you later. Bye.